Okay.
Physical artifact or object of this picture.
This is a picture that, well, let me explain. I lived on a dairy farm, and my grandparents and an aunt lived downstairs, and we lived on the upstairs. And my grandmother had this picture with matching glasses in her china cabinet, and she would only bring it down for extremely simple, special occasions. And so to me, it meant it's something that's a remembrance of her. That's from my father's family. From my mother's family, I have this vase that my mother always cherished, and I don't know where it came from, but she liked it, so it's a remembrance I have of her.
Now I'd like to ask you a few questions about your life growing up. Where did you grow up and who lived with you growing up?
Okay. I grew up in Lebanon, Connecticut. As I started to tell you, my grandmother and grandfather and an unmarried aunt and uncle of my father's lived in part of the farmhouse. And my father, mother, sister and brother and I lived on the upper part of the farmhouse in Lebanon. And it was an interesting life and a hard life going through the farm. Growing up on the farm.
What did you and your childhood friends do for fun?
Childhood friend. The only time I really got together with my friends was when we were doing things for holidays at the synagogue, because growing up on the farm, there's a farm, and then 20 miles away there's a friend's farm, and 30 miles in a different direction there's another friend's farm. So we really didn't get together a lot with friends, except in school. I had friends in school.
When you were a teenager, did you have a bar mitzvah?
No. We had a synagogue, and my girlfriend's father led the services, so it was really only on holidays that we did this, and we always had programs for the holidays.
Now I'd like for you to pick your favorite Jewish holiday and describe how you and your family celebrated it when you were a child.
Growing up, I think my favorite holiday may have been Passover, because that's when we really got together with aunts and uncles and grandparents, and it was a time to be all together. Even though they didn't live that far away, it was hard to get together with them.
Now I'd like to talk about our Jewish family traditions. My favorite one is when I make hamantashen for Purim and lighting Shabbos candles. What are yours?
You like Shabbos candles?
That's what the script says.
Okay, fine. My favorite what?
Your favorite traditions.
I didn't make hamantashen growing up. I started with my kids, and we would have a table that was 3 feet by 6 feet, and I would have all these little circles all over the table and make hamantashen for everybody. And I still do it. Now I do it with the grandchildren. And I also take pleasure in mailing out about 10 packages of hamantashen to my nieces and my brother and my sister. So that's one thing that I really like. The other thing that I really like is Sukkot, because the family all gets together. We build a sukkah. Growing up, the only sukkah we had was in the synagogue. And actually, my father put the schach on the synagogue, and what he did is he cut down the stalks of corn from the field and put them on the top. And here we have fun decorating for Sukkot, and we have lots of family come over.
Kind of a change of topic. Did anyone in your family serve in the military?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Okay, excuse me that I'm going from a book, because I didn't remember. My mother's younger brother served in the Navy during World War II. My father's brother served in the bomb group stationed in Grafton Underwood, England. And my father's sister, something that I just recently discovered, was a member of the Army Air Force Aircraft Warning Service. She was stationed in Lebanon, and I don't know if there was a tower or anything, and she was always looking at the skies, and people took turns making sure that there were no aircraft or anything coming over the town. To give you a history of the town, whether that's a reason for it or not, I don't know. But the first governor, Jonathan Trumbull, grew up in Lebanon. His siblings did. There was a war office in Lebanon that George Washington frequented, and he paraded his troops up and down the green in the town. It's a very historic town.
How did you meet Saba?
Okay. I was in college, and I went with my college roommate I went to Stern College, and I went with her to a place in Queens that her cousin was running, and they ran a bingo game. And I would call bingo and participate. I participated there for 2 years. And after they weren't allowed to pay us. They didn't pay us, but after 2 years, they gave me a trip to Israel. So I was in Israel for a month. And Moshe left Israel when in 1961 and came to the United States. Just to go back, he was born in Romania. He went to Israel when he was about 8-9 months old, and he left there just before Bar Mitzvah when he was about 12, and then he came. He was here in the States, and he went back in 1968 to go to the Hebrew University, and it was after the '67 war, so he was touring around. And he and I ended up on the same tour of Ramat HaGolan, and we met on the bus.
What did you do to make a living in your adult life?
I studied mathematics, which I love, and I was a programmer analyst for the New York Telephone Company until 1985, when my last child was born, and then I had to stay home.
What invention do you think had the biggest impact on your life?
The phone. It's so great. I can play games. I can look at videos. I can talk to people, and it's so tiny.
We're going to wrap up with one more question. What advice do you have for future generations like me?
Don't forget your past, and learn from your past, and carry on traditions. And I think that's really important. And don't forget your family, because your family's everything.
Okay.